Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today our group will going to present about the research journal. The title is the analysis of factors that influencing learners English speaking skill. Our group is consists of me, Anggi Avianingsi, and Rucica Aprita. Let's move to the first slide. It's about definition of speaking. Speaking is process of making and sharing meaning by using verbal and non-verbal. So basically speaking is about sharing something to people using verbal or non-verbal. And then Brown and Byrne enjoys define speaking as interactive process of making meaning that includes producing, receiving, and processing information. So it is include uh, creating, and then about receiving, and then about the processing the information. And then the next slide is about the importance of speaking. So speaking is very important because we use it a lot. Humans are programmed to speak before they learn to read and write. And then the next one, the modern world of media and mass communication requires good knowledge of spoken English. So, you know that uh, many media uses English as their language. So it is important to us to learn English. And then the last one is speaking is the most important skill because it is one of the abilities that is needed to perform a conversation. In order to do communication with someone, we need to speak up or we need to do verbal communication on or non-verbal communication. And then the next one will be presented by my friend.
Okay, the next slide is about characteristic of speaking. The first characteristic is fluency. According to Hugh, fluency is learner's ability to speak in understandable way in order to not break down the communication because the learners may lose their interest. H expressed that fluency is ability to answer coherency by connecting the word and phrases, um, pronouncing the word clearly and using stress and intonation. The second characteristic is accuracy. Learners should pay attention at the exactness and the completeness of language form when speaking, such as grammatical structure, vocabulary, and pronunciation. All these elements will help learners to speak English language easy and effectively. The next slide. The next slide is about speaking problem. There are some speaking problems. The first is inhibition. Inhibition is the first problem that students encounter in the class. When students want to speak, they are worried about making mistake and fearful criticism. Also, other students' attention toward themselves. The toolbox express that classroom language uh, also can create inhibition and apprehension for students. The next problem is lack of topical knowledge. This is supported by reverse things that uh, things that students often have nothing to say, probably because their teachers selected the topic that is not approved with them, or they don't have enough information about it. And the third problem is low participation. In the class with student, each student will have very little time to talk because just one student talk at the time and the other student should listen. In the speaking class, some students dominate whole class while the others talk very little or never speak. And for the last problem related to speaking ability is that when some learners share the same mother tongue, uh, why students use mother tongue? Because it's very easy for them, and according to Hammer, one of the reason why learners use mother tongue is uh, the application of mother tongue is very natural for the learners. The next slide we'll discuss with Anggi.
The next slide is about factors affecting speaking skill. The first factor is pertinent to performance condition. Learners carry out the speaking activity under different conditions. According to Nation and Newton 2009, performance condition impacts speaking performance, and this condition involves time pressure, planning, the quality of performance, and the amount of support. The second factor is related to effective one. Oxford 1990 said that one of the important factors in learning language is the effective side of student. According to Krashen 1982, a lot of effective variables have been connected to second language acquisition and motivation, self-confidence, and anxiety, were the three main types that have been investigated by many researchers. The third factor is listening ability. Those say that learners cannot improve their speaking ability unless they develop listening ability. Learners should comprehend what is uttered to them in order to have a successful dialogue. While Sumin in 1997 represented that when students talk, the other students have answer through the listening process. So speakers have the role both of listener and speaker. It can be concluded that students are not able to reply if they cannot comprehend what is told. In other words, speaking is very closely related to listening. And then the fourth factor is topical knowledge. Bahman and Palmer in 1996 defined it as the knowledge structure in long-term memory. That is, topical knowledge is the speaker knowledge of related topical information. It enables students to apply language with respect to the world in which they live. Also, Bahman and Palmer assert that topical knowledge has a great impact on the learner's speaking performance. And the fifth factor is related to the feedback during speaking activity. A lot of learners expect their teacher to give them a necessary feedback on their speaking performance. According to Harmer 1991, the decision that instructors adopt toward their learners' performance depend on the stage of lesson, the tasks, and the kind of mistake they make. Harmer also continued that if instructors directly correct their student problem, the flow of the dialogue and the aim of the speaking tasks will be spoiled. Then Baker and Westrop in 2003 supported Harmer's statement and said that if a learner are always corrected, they will be demotivated and afraid of talking. It has been suggested that instructors should always correct their student mistakes positively and give them more support and persuasion while speaking. Besides those factors, learners' speaking skill also affected by some linguistic component of language like phonology, syntax, vocabulary, semantic, and also physical factors such as motivation and personality. Okay, we already explained and presenting about the topic, and the conclusion of our presentation today is speaking is one of the most important skills to be developed and enhanced as means of effective communication. Speaking skill is regarded one of the most difficult aspects of language learning. Teachers should give their learners more opportunities to speak English through using some speaking talks that help them to take part in speaking activity. In addition, teachers should know when and how to correct their learners' mistake so they are not afraid of making mistakes.
Okay, that's all for our presentation today. Thank you for your attention and bye bye.